We have a really fun holiday coming up this week in Halloween. I'm not going to get into all of the stuff that a lot of other churches are talking about this week, because I see Halloween as having two very brilliant lessons. You know, it's fun sometimes to put on that mask and that costume and go out and pretend to be something else. It's fun to watch those little kids come running up to your door and see the little monster and know there's probably a little angel under it. Or vice versa. Sometimes there's a little angel and then a little monster underneath it. You know, it kind of depends. But it's still fun. We do that almost every day, though. We put on masks depending on our attitude, our moods, our emotions. And if you don't believe that, just think about how you answer the question, how are you, when you're at a grocery store? The answer is normally fine, no matter what's going on. Well, that's a mask. I saw a picture one time that was absolutely wonderful. It was a picture of a lady sitting at a makeup table. It was like she was getting prepared for the day. But instead of makeup out there, she had these masks. And each mask was a picture of her face. But one was smiling, one was frowning, one was crying, one was mad, one was excited. And it was as if she was choosing what she was going to put on that day. We do that. You know, if we've had a bad day, Kathy and I have experienced some crazy stuff with my son recently. And, you know, we could let that stuff predict how our day's going to go on if we want to. We can come in here mad. We can come in here very upset. We could come in here very happy and the whole time not deal with that. We just put on a facade for everybody to see. And used to, I did that. I'll be real honest with you. Used to, it didn't matter what was going on with his world and mine. It would really upset me, and I would put on that face, and I'd be the show of strength, the show of, I've got to make sure everybody else is okay. When I learned about the mask, then I kind of let those feelings kind of deal with my day. But what I've learned recently is to just go ahead and let the feelings happen, let my authenticity come out, and that way I don't have to put on the mask, and I don't have to let you guys suffer with what I've been going through. Okay? It's real easy to wear your heart on your sleeve and drag other people down. That's not what we're talking about here. What I'm talking about is let your authenticity come out and put the mask away. This experience was a little different. Like I said, there's 3 lessons that you can learn from wearing the mask, or 3 ways you get cheated, not lessons, 3 ways you get cheated by wearing the mask. The first way, the first way is it cheats us of an inner peace, because we've got to fight to keep that facade up. It's not easy to wear that and keep it there. You know, if I'm having a bad day but I'm putting on that cheerful facade, that will wear you out. There's no inner peace in that. None. The second thing that happens is it cheats us of working through the emotion. If we are constantly putting on the facade and focusing all our energies on that, we're not allowing ourselves to work on the emotion. We're creating these big blocks. It's like that dam on the river. Water builds up and builds up and builds up and builds up, and eventually there's so much water that it's more than the dam was meant to hold. Something breaks, floods. Same thing with your emotions. If you're not dealing with those, you're hurting yourself. You're cheating yourself out of the experience of working through that emotion and actually being over it, being done with it. And the third thing that it cheats us of is it cheats me. When I come in here and I put on that facade, when I make everybody think I'm just absolutely great, and inside I'm hurting, I cheat myself out of receiving a little compassion or a little empathy. And I'm going to be honest with you. Sometimes it feels good to have somebody give you a hug, pat you on the back, say it's all going to be okay. It does feel good. and it allows them the opportunity to give of themselves. So we're cheating them as well. So the first part of these brilliant lessons that you get at Halloween is the mask. The mask, when we let it become our truth, or what we want everybody to think is our truth, cheats us. And it cheats others. Now the second great lesson that we can learn at Halloween is illusions. The Way of Mastery, what you're reading, I know, is part of the study group down in McKinney, talks about illusions all the time. It talks about everything on this physical dimension basically is an illusion. We are spiritual beings. We are not what this body says we are. We are totally spirit, and everything else is just an illusion. It's an experience for us to feel and let go of. We're not meant to hold on to it all, because when we die, our bodies stay here, our spirit is still flowing freely. That's the reality of us. Now, there are some illusions that are pretty cool. I love illusionists. David Copperfield, wonderful. My favorite of all of them is Chris Angel. And the reason he's my favorite is I cannot even begin to figure out how he does it. You know, some of these guys, they do these great illusions, and you say, well, okay, well, if they do this, then that can happen. Okay, I can kind of figure. Chris Angel does these things that I cannot figure out. He will be standing. I saw him live when I was in Vegas a few years ago. Just saw him on the street doing his little routine, and the guy rises up off the ground. I know it's an illusion. I know there's no truth to that except what I give it, but I can't figure it out. So this is why the guy's my favorite. He walks through plate glass windows without breaking them. He does card tricks that just, my favorite trick of all, and I'm sorry, I'm going to get off on a tangent here. My favorite trick of all was he was at a restaurant with his film crew, and they were just taking a break. They were on break from their filming, and a lady came up. She recognized him. She came up, and she's just flipping out because she was seeing one of her favorite idols, if you will, and she was begging him to do a little trick or something. So he took her wedding ring. He talked her into giving him her wedding ring. And he did something with his hands, and it was gone. Nowhere on the table, nowhere. Now he's still sitting there. The lady that was with the one who gave him the ring, he said, "I want you to go into the restaurant." They were on a patio, and inside the restaurant was like a Sunday brunch. It had a fruit station and a meat station and an egg station. You know, it was just a big elaborate display of food. And he told the lady that was with her, "Go in there and pick a food station." And so they walked inside and never approached the tables, and the lady said, "Okay, the fruit station over here." He said, "Okay," and he looked to somebody else. He said, "Okay, pick a fruit." And the person walked over, and they said, "Okay, I picked the bananas." And he said, "Okay," and he looked to the lady who originally gave him the ring and said, "Go pick one banana off of that bunch." And she brought it back to him. He peeled it, and the ring was inside that banana. So this guy either is some sort of ultra human being, or he is just fantastic at the illusions. That's why I love illusions, because it makes me go, Anyway, I told you I was going to get off on a tangent with that, but that's not the kind of illusions I'm talking about. Illusions are the things that we put up there and hope people believe. They're the things that we put up and hope that we believe. It's similar to a mask, but it's deeper than that. The illusions are mistaken beliefs that we have about ourselves or others. Illusions are misinterpretations of facts that we see, and they border on judgments. They almost get into prejudice, because most illusions are based on very little fact, if any at all. We see something, we think that we know what it is, so it can really bog us down. Illusions, when we buy into them, cheat us and others of the truth. If I look at Madeline and she has put up an illusion of being something other than what she really is, and I buy into that, I cheat me of the truth, but I also cheat her. I cheat her because I'm telling her that it's okay to go ahead and keep throwing that illusion up there. It's okay to deny your truth. It's okay to try to trick me. So I cheat both of us. Halloween's trick or treat really is about what we're talking about today. We can try to trick people, or we can treat them to the truth. Trick or treat. Halloween is fun. But at the end of Halloween, we've got to stop with the masks and the illusions. The illusions really are damaging. They really disconnect us or cover up our connection with the divine. The illusions really become easy for us to believe as well. The way of mastery, when it talks about letting go, and I keep pointing at you because I know you're studying it as well. The way of mastery, when it talks about illusions, is basically telling me, let go of all that. Let go of what you think's important. Let go of what you believe should be important. Let go of everything except that divine connection, that Christ mind within you. Anything other than that is your illusion. When I show you anything other than that connection, I am inviting you to buy into my illusion. When you show me anything other than your authenticity, you're inviting me to buy into your illusion. Guess what? You do not have to accept the invitation. And I don't have to accept yours. Because when I accept yours or you accept mine, it pulls me out of my authenticity. It pulls me into this facade. It pulls you into a facade. So to truly live authentically as the divine being that you are, to fully live in the Christ mind, you simply notice the illusion. Notice the mask. And look beyond it. Doesn't mean that I have to fix Kathy if she throws an illusion up in front of me. I do not have to fix it. I do not have to try to teach her a different way. I simply look beyond it. And I see the divine being that she is. And in that, I can help her. She's one of the most authentic people I know, is why I'm using her as an example. She has 21 years. There hadn't been too many facades thrown up that I've seen. So, but we do not have to accept what we see. We look beyond. And then when we see the divine being in there, we hold that up. We hold the divine person up to a higher light until they can see it for themselves. Because in most cases, people are buying into their own illusions. You know, when we look to the world for our answers, when we look to the world to be right, we're seeing illusions and we're starting to believe them. The world will never make us right. The world will never fix us. Only God within us. And the cool thing about it is it's there. Always. Never leaves. We just have to see it again. We just have to stay connected to the divine. We have to allow it and accept it. I was presented this week with a new mantra. And the challenge was, and I think it came from the Course of Miracles, or not the Course of Miracles, but the Way of Mastery. It was 5 minutes in the morning and 5 minutes in the evening. Just repeat over and over and over, I accept the love of God. I accept the love of God. That's very important to me because it tells me that I don't have to do anything but open myself to it. I don't have to go out and do this list of tasks to earn it. I don't have to go out and do anything to deserve it. It's there. It's inside of me always. And I simply open my heart, let go of the junk running around in my mind, and accept the love of God. So I challenge you to do the same. 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes in the evening. Just sit down quietly, close your eyes, and repeat, I accept the love of God.